What up, guys? We're back. Boomer Backfield. Pre-game pod for OU versus Auburn, baby.
Wowza.
Coming off a tough L, Tennessee. Got some exciting news. Michael Hawkins, how we feeling? Praise God. Gonna be an exciting week. Hopefully we got some big things ahead. Hopefully we come out of Auburn with a W. But to start it off, we got some big news in the world of college football. Mr. Matthew Sluka.
Wowza. Let's pull him up.
Spence, go ahead. Go ahead and let us know.
I'll just do the breakdown. Basically, quarterback from UNLV. UNLV obviously having a really good season, at least to their standard. Just went on the road and beat Kansas. And are now looking at, according to ESPN, they are looking at a 16% chance of going to the playoffs, taking that G5 spot. So basically they're having this really good season, and the quarterback says, hey, I'm going to step out and use my red shirt because the university is not paying me the NIL that they promised me at the beginning of the season. Some people are saying that he got an agent midseason, or maybe his parents came in midseason and demanded more money because of the success they're having on this bye week and all that, which I could believe, but I don't know if it's true quite yet. But either way, crazy situation in UNLV because, you just lost your leading rusher and your starting quarterback. You might be. This is so now they are looking at a home game versus Syracuse. Syracuse is probably one of the best ACC teams. Home game versus 25 Boise State.
Ooh-wee.
So they have a lot to get through, and they go on the road to Corvallis to play Oregon State. So they have to get through all of that and then win their conference championship to get to the playoffs. And you essentially have to be 12-0, by the way, to get that G5 spot. So,
Good
a
luck.
lot of adversity ahead of them with this in mind. I think my opinion on this whole thing is, if the university promised him money and didn't pay it, I would do the same thing.
Yeah.
If I was promised $1 million, or probably not $1 million, $500K, and the university paid me out $300, I would be like, I love my teammates, I love my team, but
I need that $200.
I'm not gonna. There's no other way I can get to the university and punish them for this other than sitting out.
Yeah.
And so unfortunately, that's what I would do. If he went and got an agent and tried to renegotiate because they're doing good, that, in my opinion, is just like you're a douche.
That's exactly what I think. Is like if you're promised a certain amount of money and you don't get it, that really is the only way that you can get their attention. It sucks that it goes back on the team.
Yeah.
But you see that in the NFL all the time. Look at what's his name, Jamar Chase.
Yeah.
He was throwing a fit all preseason about his contract, and his wasn't even up. He had like 2 more years left on it. So, you see that happen, and it's just kind of scary to see that, I guess, in college football, because we were talking earlier, like, what happens when a whole skill group walks out? Or say a big blue blood school needs a quarterback mid-season, and they pull some guy off waivers or whatever, and, I don't know. There's so many possibilities that could happen, and it's kind of scary. But all this shows is it's a need for structure. It's a desperate need for structure with NIL.
Just a quick response. The thing is that this doesn't happen in the NFL, because the NFL, you negotiate your contract in the offseason.
That's it.
Yeah.
You agree on something, whether you like it or not. You have to agree on something at the end of the offseason. Then you play the season. If you play bad, you get paid what you got paid. If you play good, you renegotiate next year, next offseason, and that's just how it is. Tough luck. If you play great and you're getting paid less than you're playing, it's tough luck, and you renegotiate next year. But with college football, there's no contract. There's nothing laid out at all. So the university could do this, the player could do this. It really don't matter who's getting paid how much, because there's no contract there.
Yeah.
That's why I think if we're going to do this whole NIL thing, it's exactly right. Like, we have to have structure. We have to have it like the NFL, where every season there's a cutoff date. Like, you got to negotiate by this time, and then when the football season rolls around, then we'll get to talking about football and only football.
Well, then you also see Georgia's backup. He was suing Florida like Billy Napier at Florida. Did you hear about that?
Yeah.
For like 13.5
Oh, you talking
million?
about Rashada?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because they didn't pay. So it's like, and it makes you wonder, is like, is it on the players for walking out, or is it on the schools for making empty promises? I mean, you cannot promise a player money and not pay him.
Yeah,
that's
that's
illegal.
fair.
Like
That's fair.
that's literally lying to somebody to get them to benefit you, and you're not giving them what you've promised them. That is illegal.
But unfortunately, it's
And-
not illegal because
Yeah,
there's no contract.
Well, there's no contracts. It should be illegal. What I'm
Yeah.
saying is, like,
It's
ethically,
unethical,
it's unethical.
But
So
that's the thing is there's no contract.
Yeah.
So you can't. Yeah. So that's why it should be illegal, but it's not. So
Yeah.
that's why we got to have some structure here.
I think also, I know there's going to be a lot of, obviously this is going to cause like a bunch of controversy within, like, oh, like I was in class the other day and the kid was like, I think NIL is just dumb in general. And so like we got into a whole like debate, and I was just like, you're telling me that these dudes are literally working their butts off, and you don't think people are, people are literally, university is making money literally off of them.
yeah,
And you think they don't deserve anything? He's like, why? They're getting paid in education. I literally looked at him. I said, buddy, if you think they care about coming to class, no, that is not. I said, half the time, Colby, you've graduated. How much of what you've learned do you actually use? Most of the time it's zero. I would say probably maybe max like 20% of what you ever learn.
What's even crazy, I don't want to interrupt you.
No,
Go
you're
ahead.
good.
I was just going to say, like, from what I've learned, I'm a film major, by the way. But anyways,
Sorry.
when I stepped on campus my junior year, I worked on a few sets before, and everything they taught me is stuff that I already knew.
Yeah.
So I literally learned nothing
Yeah.
from school because I already knew it from just working on actual stuff. Anyways, continue.
So it's just like they deserve what they've been paid. And so I saw this tweet earlier this morning. I was reading it, and I was just like, it was like this old head in the comments. Well, it's about the team. It's about the team. Like, how are you going to quit on the team? And this guy literally said, imagine going to work like you're 9 to 5 and them saying, I'm just not going to pay you, but you're going to come to work. I said, would you still go to work?
Yeah.
Absolutely not.
No shot.
Absolutely not.
No shot.
Now, what number could UNLV be paying a Holy Cross transfer? It can't be that much,
Yeah.
but it's still it's a large sum of money.
Yeah.
So I guarantee you, even if it was $50,000 and he only had 30, I'm still fighting about that 20K
Yeah, for
because that's a lot of people's like whole college tuition.
Yeah.
Like, why
Yeah.
not? But so definitely, like y'all said, I think we're all in agreement. It definitely needs some type of structure. I don't see it getting that like blown out of proportion just because I think most schools, what are we, 3 years into NIL? Like, and this is like
Yeah,
the
3,
first
4,
time it's
yeah.
really happened. Because I think most people really know, a lot of these kids have never seen what they're being offered. They've never even seen that type of money. Like if they're getting offered $100,000, they're probably like, cool, let's go.
Yeah.
And the school can afford to pay that.
Yeah.
So I don't think it'll go that far, but to prevent it from doing that, I think we need structure, contracts, however that may be. Hopefully there's no like free agency. Hopefully he can't enter the portal and go get picked up by whoever and be like, oh yeah, I'm now the Michigan State quarterback.
Yeah.
Oh, you.
Yeah, literally like we go get Matthew Sluka right now, but
Give him Arnold's NIL money.
something. But I don't know. I think it's really interesting to see, like, I mean,
Yeah.
he might have started like a wave
Yeah.
of something. Hopefully not, but
That's
I can't blame him.
That's
Yeah.
what I think is like when you do stuff like this, when stuff like this happens, it opens floodgates.
Yeah,
it does.
as people
how-
start thinking like,
Because there's a lot of other people that are thinking the exact same thing. You know?
Just a quick rundown. Some of the NIL deal or some of the NIL valuations out there. Shadur Sanders $5.1 million.
silly.
Livy Dunn $4 million. Arch Manning, who's played one total game, $3.1 million.
It's more than Quinn.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is crazy. They get a higher
Nico's at
valuation than Quinn.
1.9. You have female basketball players 1.4, 1.4, 1.3. So like, this is a lot of money, and you cannot blame players for wanting
Yeah.
to maximize every inch of it. And like most of the time, it's not players that are trying to maximize it; it's their parents or their agents.
Yeah.
They're like, hey, like
Mm-hmm.
they have the wisdom to be like, all right, let's be real. This could only be 4 years.
Yeah,
You need to maximize every little inch of it because you're trying to make this money last for a long time.
Yeah.
And so, and that's all power to him. So, yeah, I honestly think that this whole situation is he trying to renegotiate midseason? If so, you're a douche. If he didn't try to renegotiate midseason, UNLV pay up.
Yeah.
But
I mean, it seems like in his post, I committed to UNLV based on certain representations that were made to me, which were not upheld after I enrolled.
Yeah.
So that doesn't sound like a renegotiation. That just sounds like UNLV promised him something and did not pay him.
I love it when athletes post stuff like this from the Notes app.
Yeah.
Hey,
Hey, bro, you know you put that in Chat GPT. Write a letter of resignation for my team.
But my last take on this, Mike Gundy, you were right. Everyone in the national media threw shame on Mike Gundy like they always do for his outrageous statements, which he does have outrageous statements. But he said at the beginning of the season, before the season, he said, I told my players to stop asking for more money. It stops now at the beginning of the season. And everyone was like, that's ridiculous. Why would you say that to your players? Well, here you go. Guys asking for more money, and he quits the team. So Mike Gundy wisdom wins once again, in my opinion. But anyway, we're gonna head to
that's
OU
crazy.
Auburn.
Let's get into it. Let's do some analysis of OU. Obviously, we know Michael Hawkins. The biggest news is Michael Hawkins is our starting quarterback coming into Auburn.
Thank you, Lord.
I'm very excited, personally, to watch him play. I think he's going to do really well. It just depends on if we kind of run the same style of offense we ran when he was in against Tennessee. We passed the ball more in the second half. I think we strayed away from the RPO as well. BV essentially said in a press conference this week that he is going away with the RPO, and that certain plays he just didn't like the play design whatsoever. So I really like this week BV has done something that he hasn't done all season, which is call out Seth Luttrell and the offense publicly. Now, which is so important. I think a lot of it falls on Seth Luttrell. I think a lot of it should also fall on Joe John, like we talked about earlier, with just new information. There was this guy that posted on Twitter of all the tight ends that have come through Oklahoma since Joe John's been here, and none of them have really done anything. And we've even talked about a guy, Austin Stogner, who was here during Spencer Rattler's year, and he was a baller. He left to go to South Carolina, came back. Joe John was here, and then he
somehow got worse.
Pretty much got worse.
I'll add on to that.
Yeah, which is crazy.
Yesterday, somebody asked about Devon Mitchell, who is Joe John Finley's best recruit ever. Number one tight end out of his class.
Reclassed.
He was Joe John Finley's gold star. This is my guy that I got. BV in his press conference yesterday just
he cooked him.
Unloaded
he cooked
Devon Mitchell.
Couldn't get it together.
Yeah, when he got on campus, he'll be the first to tell you he was not ready. He was not ready. He was skipping class. He was doing bad things.
Showing up late.
I was like, oh my God. Bro just got cooked. And then finally at the end they said, but yeah, he's fixing it up.
Yeah, turned it around.
He's on the right track. But yeah, Devon Mitchell, who is Joe John Finley's gold star of his career, is scout team tight end. So
yeah. Should we? I want to go over the tight ends just real quick. Since Joe John Finley has been at OU, Caden Helms,
he's been hurt every year. So
Jason Llewellyn,
he left. He's special teams demon though.
Daniel Parker, who?
Golly.
Cade McIntyre, nothing. Blake Smith,
he was absolutely trash.
Buns, Stogner, nothing. Regression. That's really the big thing. Jake Roberts, he's okay. Can't really block. Doing good. Bauer Sharp,
terrible in my opinion.
It's like
he's just a big receiver. That's literally all he is. He's just a slow receiver.
It's all your tight ends that you've had. What are you doing here? What are you doing?
So obviously we can get into the Hawkins stuff, but I'm gonna go ahead and start with, if you watch, I watch the dang Monday Rudy's interview with BV, then I watch the Tuesday Real interview with BV, and then I watch the post-game interview with BV. I listen to every word that comes out of BV's mouth because I'm a sicko, but I'm disgustingly obsessed with OU football.
That's bro.
This Tuesday interview that happened yesterday was insane.
Yeah.
never seen it before in his 3-year, 10 years here at OU. Like, it was insane because he just basically said he basically, one, didn't talk about defense too much, which is crazy because that alone is very not typical.
Yeah.
And then two, he broke down tons of schematics about the offense, the O-line, the play calling, and just called out one by one.
Yeah.
Like,
It's crazy.
players,
Yeah.
he was calling out players one by one. Like,
Yeah.
you're missing you're getting knocked back here, so the pool isn't going to be allowed to happen here. That blows up the whole play. It's bad execution. It's bad schematics. It's bad play calling. And in my opinion, what I hope happens out of this, because this would be the most important thing that happened all season if it does, is if BV decides that he's going to fix the offense himself and not necessarily call the plays or anything like that, but like get
Mindset.
hands-on with the
Yeah.
offense, that would be the biggest thing to happen to this team all season, because that's what needs to happen in my opinion.
Yeah.
And if he goes over there and starts forcing, this is a standard that we're going to play by. You're going to execute this way every time. We're going to communicate this way. We're going to have energy this way. And the O-line starts communicating better. The tight ends start communicating better. If everything starts going BV's way, the way it has in the defense, that could be, plus the Michael Hawkins sub, that could be the big change for this offense. And it doesn't need to be massive. It just needs to be a change.
Yeah.
And me and Spence were talking yesterday in the kitchen, and I said, I think we can all agree. I put BV. I think he is the number one defensive mind in college football.
Oh yeah.
And if you would disagree, at least you got to put him. Really,
Sorry.
Unbelievable. On the
really,
pod.
wow.
Sorry.
At least top 3. I don't think anyone can argue that because he is literally
Who's
turned,
better? He
I
turned
mean,
Oklahoma, who was horrible, to
into
a national championship defense.
yeah, his best
in 3
defensive
years.
player was not he was okay. Danny was okay before
That's what's crazy.
BV,
Yeah.
but if BV has never come or never got to OU, I don't think Danny might have, but he would have went in the 6, maybe 7, just because
Danny
size.
wouldn't be nearly as good as he is.
But
Yeah.
sometimes I said, if he goes to the offensive side of the ball, because when you heard him in the interview, because I watched it or I was listening to it, if you are such a great defensive mind, there's something out there. Be man, if an offense ran this, I don't know how to stop that.
Yeah.
So you would figure, if you're genius on one side, you should have something that you would know how could I beat this? And then
Oh, yeah.
hey Seth, run this because I can't even figure out how I would stop this or mid game I don't know what adjustment I can make.
Yeah.
So it's just in a lot of the offense, it's just mindset.
Oh yeah.
Mindset. Everyone on the offensive line, they just look like they're out there and they're soft. That's what it is.
Yeah.
They're just oh, we're just getting beat.
They don't look confident.
That's what I'm saying. Go be a
yeah.
dog. Go there's no way I would
Take
let
somebody's head off.
literally let
Take
G
their head
baby
off.
every practice just whoop me. Just whoop me. Dominic would I would just let Dominic Wood just whoop
Yeah.
me
And they just
every
take
time.
it.
And there's
They just take it.
oh man.
Yeah.
Go be a dog.
Yeah.
And he was called that interview, like you said, that's the craziest interview I've ever seen.
Yeah.
Because it was for the first time, it was real. It was no media training.
Yeah.
He was hey, my defense played great. Anyway, about this offense, they suck,
pow,
and just
pow,
started
pow,
lining people up. And he was
It was crazy. Truly lining up players. And
the safety? How do we get a safety? Don't love the play call right there.
Yeah.
Seth Luttrell's probably just
Setchell's sitting there
rightfully
shaking
so.
his boots.
Rightfully so.
but it's just crazy.
One
bro.
thing that came out of the interview is BB said, got to take the decision out of the quarterback's hands
Yeah.
with the
Yes.
RPO and the option.
Yeah. I saw that.
And another thing he harped on the whole time was execution on the
Yeah.
offense. Poor execution, poor execution, poor execution. I think what I would like to see out of this Auburn game is, one, the defense go crazy, hold Auburn to 10 points,
Yeah.
7 points.
Yeah.
And then with the offense, what I would want to see, at least what I'm thinking we might see, is a very vanilla offense, but with an execution that actually
Works.
makes things happen.
Yeah.
Yep.
Because
Yeah.
in reality, our offensive play calling, it's bad at times, but the reason it blows up and the reason terrible things happen, terrible. things happen.
Terrible.
Because the execution is god awful. I mean, you're seeing like the O-line is blocking. I saw one.
Oh.
I heard one thing. Where an O-lineman.
There's one.
An O-lineman missed his assignment. Like stopped blocking his assignment to block a corner that was rushing, that was blitzing. And at the end of the play, he goes, "Why did I do that?" And it's execution like that makes plays explode. And so, in my opinion, if you just dumb it down for these guys, because that's what they need. They need it dumbed down for them. If you just dumb it down for them and just make it a kind of a vanilla offense, but one that actually, like, we're executing right.
Yep.
We're getting the right blocks. The receivers are running the right routes. We're reading the defense correctly. And then Mike can just do what he does and create plays out of a vanilla offense. Yeah. That's what I'd like to see. I hope we're going to see that.
I don't know what you said about BV being a genius on defense, and surely that should translate to offense. If your job was to study offenses for 20 years and figure out ways to stop them, you know what offenses are elite, and you know how to work an offense. That's how I look at it too. Is like if you're an offensive coordinator or a defensive coordinator, you're also at the same time an offensive coordinator or a defensive coordinator, because you're trying to figure out like what plays are they doing that could beat us, and how do I stop these potential plays from happening? Or Lincoln Riley, for example, it's like, now granted, he's kind of just now figuring it out, but it's like Lincoln Riley studies defenses. That's why his offense is so good, because he's studying defenses. So anyways, I think BV, if he gets a wrangle of the offense, that's going to be really good, because he knows, even though he's a defensive coordinator, he knows what works, because it's what beat him.
Yeah.
And
if you're a defensive coordinator, you're an offensive studier.
Yeah, you're an offensive analyst or whatever. Yeah. But to your point too, about the what'd you just say? Why am I shooting blanks here?
Yeah.
Vanilla offense. Yeah. There was something that BB said in his press conference where it's like, it was in that same like block that he was talking about, but saying like, we don't want to rely on our quarterback to make the perfect read every single time. Yeah. Because that's not going to happen. Yeah. And there was plays too where it's like you would watch. I was watching this guy. He was like going over the film breakdown.
Aaron Murray. He was a quarterback at Georgia.
Yeah, that guy. Yeah. He was going over like this film breakdown of like Jackson, and he was saying like Jackson was just making the wrong reads. He was like, here's a play here, and he shows this flat, and he's like, this is the guy he's supposed to read. And then he doesn't hand it off. Yeah. And then he gets sacked, or he throws a bad pass. Or there was this one route where it was like a slant on the left side, and there was like a linebacker, a safety, a corner, and a other safety coming crashing down. And there was, I think it was like Bauer Sharp or somebody wide open, like tutty open. Yep. And he tries to squeeze it in this 4 spot, and that's the pass that Brendan Thompson dived for, and he missed. So it's just like, if you just told Jackson, okay, Jackson, if you see 4 guys over here, you just throw to the opposite side. That allows Jackson to not have to think, and he already knows where he's going with the ball. So I think that is going to help Michael a lot, because Michael already seemed to do better when he was having to make decisions. So now it's like you take the decision making out of his hand, you give him opportunity to make plays, and he could blow up the offense and just do something crazy, you know. So, and I think too, also with that is we are going to go away from offenses, or our offense, from plays that a quarterback has to make a decision regardless. Yeah. So BV essentially is saying like, we're pretty much done with the RPO because our quarterbacks can't handle it. And so now that I think we're moving away from that, that's going to open up the passing game. That's going to open up air raid. It's going to open up Michael time to kind of make plays. I'm really excited to see the offense this week.
Here's really, no, go ahead. Finish what you're saying.
No, that was it. Yeah.
The RPO, obviously, I never played quarterback or any skill position. I was big, so I didn't get the chance to do that. But I'm going to break down like this. When you're playing NCAA, right? That's the only time I get to play quarterback, right? How many times do you run the RPO like 80% of the time? You don't. The RPO, you establish like, hey, I'm going to hand this ball off. Yeah. Or literally I'm just going to throw the ball. Yeah. And then when you hit the RPO, that's when it usually cooks because they don't know. Yeah. But when the whole playbook is running the RPO, we run the RPO that's why. That's literally the RPO every single time.
Dude, I hate that little zesty, like, it's the zesty hand. You know what I'm talking about? Yeah. It's like.
But it's just like. But it's just like.
That's crazy.
Why run that as your whole entire offense? Like, that doesn't make sense.
It doesn't make sense.
It's literally.
No.
I have to make a decision like that. Whether the linebacker is going to literally fill a gap right here. Yeah. Or he's going to go into coverage. And I just have to be like. Because even me, like, I would be like, because you're almost guessing. It's literally like in baseball.
Yeah.
Where it's like 0-2, and you either like, oh, he might try and blow a fastball by me. Oh, I don't really know, and you're having to guess. You're cooked. You're cooked. You're cooked.
You just expect fastball.
Exactly.
And then when you expect fastball and a curveball comes, you're cooked.
Like,
it's changed like football.
So it's just like, why do that? And even I remember when we were watching Aaron Murray break down Jackson, he went to Michael Hawkins and he said, run the same RPO, and he was like, honestly, I would have went like to these two other guys before I even threw it.
Yeah.
But it's the fact that Michael Hawkins will just throw it. Like,
yeah.
Even if it's the wrong decision, the guy might not be your first read, but if he's going to throw it, at least throw it with confidence.
Yeah.
Like, get it in. And it was like probably an 9 yard completion.
Yeah.
So it's just like, I think the RPO comes down to, can you make a decision fast enough? And Michael does that way better than Jackson. Yeah. But I think taking it away, I don't think it should be taken away completely, but I think it should be very, very minimal.
Yeah.
Very minimal.
I can say from playing quarterback experience. Yeah. Like, granted, no, I was not a Power 5 or college quarterback, but I did play high school football. And I will say an RPO is incredibly difficult to do as a quarterback because you're reading. So like a typical, like, you can like do the handoff read, which whatever that is. Yeah. Like, you can either pull it back or give it to you're only reading one defender, which is the D end. Yeah. So it's like if the D end crashes down, you pull the ball and you take off upfield and get 5 or 6 yards. If the D end stays up with you, you hand the ball off and he goes scores. But when you're doing an RPO, you're reading the D end. Does he crash down or does he not? So he crashes down. I pull the ball. Now I'm running. Now I read the flat guy. Yeah. Does he crash down to me or does he go up? But then at the same time, as you're reading the flat guy, you're looking at the safeties because you're like, where are these guys at? Because they could be switching. When the ball snapped, they could go from a cover 2 to a 1 or a man or something like that. So then you're reading like, after you pull the ball and you're looking for your pass, like as you're running, you're reading like 4 other people for 2 routes. Yeah. At max 2 routes. Normally it's only one slant route that's coming on from the left side or from the right side. So you're just cooked. And that's why it's like when we ran that in high school, it just never worked. Not that like
too complicated.
Me or the other quarterback wasn't competent. It was just, it's a really hard thing to read. And then when you add in this really hard mental thing to read on top of a huge environment, SEC, it's loud, it's crazy. It makes it almost impossible unless you're like Baker Mayfield to make those kind of reads. So that's why it's like when I got just a regular pass play or just a regular read it or pull it, that was the happiest I was because I'm like, I just got to read the safeties, the linebackers, and then just the D end if he's crashing, if it's a run play. And it makes it so much easier. And it's more effective.
On the O-line, when you're blocking and like your assignment has to change.
Yeah, you don't know because you don't know what you're doing.
You don't know.
You don't know if you're pass blocking or you don't know if you're run blocking.
And so, and it's like, and I think, and going back to BB's point, it's like, these guys aren't great. They're not high football IQ guys on the O-line. Give them something simple, something vanilla, but let them execute it right. Teach them to execute it to perfection. Yeah. Something simple. Because I would rather have something, the most bland offense ever executed really well than what we have, where it's this complicated offense that is executed to just terribly. But yeah, when BV got here, he said, he basically came in and implemented a pretty vanilla defense and worked on execution over time. And we're finally seeing the execution get better and better and better. And now it's near perfect execution on this vanilla defense. Tennessee and Tulane, you were starting to see he's upping the complexity of the defense because he's seeing, my players now understand and can execute this complicated defense. And I think if he goes over to the offense, what he's going to do is the exact same thing. Give him a simple offense to run. Make sure they get the execution right. And then whenever the execution gets right, who knows when that'll be, then he'll allow Seth Luttrell to start upping the complexity of the defense. Because literally last week we were seeing people play positions they've never played. And we're running formations we've never run. And that's because our execution has been great these past few games, so we're adding new stuff. Yeah. They taught Trace Ford an entirely new position. He was playing, like that cheetah linebacker basically yesterday or last week. I mean, he's dropping into coverage for the first time in his entire career. And he balled out. Yeah. Because the rest of the defense is executing really well. We were 3 down for the first time. We're going into bear with Peyton Bowen and all this crazy stuff that you've never seen before. It's because our execution was right in the simple 4-3 that we always run. So I hope that's what's happening. I hope we are just going to go back to the basics and get the basics right.
Yeah.
And I think, honestly, like, you made a good point about, like, the O-line.
Yeah.
Like, I don't think, and I really haven't even thought about this like this, but, like, there's no shot that there are that many Power 5 guys that Bill recruited to come to OU, and they all suck.
Yeah, there's no shot.
Because I was like, I couldn't fathom how they're all so, like, if you look at their PFF grade, it's awful.
Yeah.
It's literally awful. And then I'm like, they don't know what they're doing. Like, they act like, not as in, like, they're so stupid they don't know what they're doing.
Yeah.
They don't know what they're blocking for.
Yeah.
They don't know if Jackson is going to keep the ball or if Javonte Barnes has the ball and he's running.
Yeah.
So it's like, if I'm going to call play action, whatever, seam, exvert, whatever, then I know, all right, I have to maintain this pocket. I have to create a pocket for Jackson to just sit in.
Yeah.
And I know I'm pass blocking. It's not as hard. So I know I know my technique, because the technique differs from play to play. Pass blocking, run block, obviously.
Yeah.
So it's just like, if we cut out the guessing game for everybody, especially with all the injuries, like, that's what's probably is making it so much harder, is that they don't know, like, each other's whatever, but everybody knows how to run block and everybody knows how to pass block.
Yeah.
But if your tackles think that Javonte Barnes has the ball and they're running up the field blocking, that DN is saying, oh, great, I have a free shot at whoever. So it's like, I'll take that away and literally say, hey, we're handing this ball off, pancake that other guy, and keep going down the field. Get to the second level, get to the third level, all that. So it's just like, that makes so much sense as to why we've been so god-awful on the line.
Well, go ahead.
Well, and BB was saying in his interview yesterday, he was like, I have never designed, he said, I have never designed a defense that I need a player
to like make another block
to like to do something outstanding to make the play work. I always set it up to where the players just need to do their job.
Yeah.
And then the play will work.
Yeah.
If they do something outstanding, we teach them to do that, but they don't have to for the play to work. Yeah. And he said on offense, it's like you're asking these guys to like make these decisions rapidly, block this guy, change to this guy, change to run. Like, you can't ask these O-linemen to do all these things. You need to ask them to do one thing and one thing right.
Yeah. Yep. Well, it's like to your point with like the bad line, it's like you're mixing worse with worse. You're mixing a worse O-line with a very difficult offense, and so that's just a recipe for disaster. Like it's like if you had the O-line with like Creed Humphrey and Jalen Hurts, they would probably figure this stuff out. But that is an elite O-line. You're mixing a bad O-line with more complicated stuff than the Jalen Hurts era and the Kyler and Baker era had to deal with. And so now it's like you're just setting them up for failure. Yeah. I mean, we watched that one play, Kylan. This was ridiculous.
Sorry, Branson Hickman. I got to call you out, bro.
There was this play. We saw you pass blocking, and your ass was towards the freaking first down.
He was looking Jackson Arnold dead in the eye.
He missed his block, and he turns around and he's like, no! He's like this, no!
Because the guy ran smooth by him.
Just right by him. And you're sitting there just like, just nobody around him. And then this D-line, his big ass is just running right at Jackson for to take his head off. Yeah. So it's like you mix bad with worse, and it's just causing horribleness all across the offense. And I guarantee you, if they said, all right, just like you said, guys, we're passing this play, block your man. If you see the money linebacker come in,
kick out,
Saw Chuck or Javonte, go block him. Like, really easy stuff. And then I think they're going to perform a lot better. Yeah. Because I don't think the linemen, just like you said, I really don't think the linemen are just straight up terrible. Yeah. I think they're literally just playing such a complicated offense. Like, if they just had a simple run play up the middle, which please don't ever run the ball up the middle because we suck every time we do that. But probably because
our O-line doesn't know.
Our O-line doesn't know what the hell they're doing because they have such. There's like, oh, if this linebacker comes here, then I gotta go block him. Shave him off. It's like, yeah. So, anyways, I think if they make it more simple, it's gonna help a lot.
100%.
Should we get into Tennessee or Auburn?
The Tigers.
Yeah,
get in my head.
I guess should we summarize? Like, I want the offense to be vanilla with good execution, and the defense to do the exact same thing just keep doing it.
Yep.
Because go ahead and go into Auburn.
Yep.
This is an offense that we can exploit.
Yeah.
With our defense.
What do you think about OU? Like what Spencer said. What are some of your things that you'd like to see?
I mean,
from OU?
I'm pretty much in full agreement. Just literally, if we can simplify Michael Hawkins as much as I love this dude. I never even met him, but I love him already. He's still a true freshman, and he's gonna make mistakes, and I know he is.
Yeah.
So let's put him in a situation where it's harder to make a mistake.
Yeah.
I don't have to. Who am I throwing to?
Yeah.
I can sit there and play backyard football.
Yeah.
I know my line knows that maybe I have 5 seconds, and I know I can throw a ball.
Yeah.
And I can literally read all my progressions and be like, hey, I think this guy's, and I'll just let it go, let it fly.
Yeah.
Do that instead of having to, I see the DN, I don't know, and then boom. Now, bro's in my face, I'm on the ground, his butt's in my face because I just got sacked. So now I'm toast.
Yeah.
But like Spence said, simplify the offense, defense, go crazy. This Auburn team is not very good.
No, they're not.
And if we thought our quarterback situation was bad, theirs is even worse.
Yeah.
So
I have to say, it's really the same thing. Michael's got to play well, and I think he will if we have a simple offense. Defense, just do exactly what you're doing.
Exactly.
You're perfect. Either way. So, that's said. Let's get into the Auburn breakdown. Do you guys want to go first? I took some notes. Do you want me to go first?
I have something just to say.
Yeah.
Yes, they changed their quarterback.
he still buns.
So, but this is interesting. Auburn's 2024 offense, number 6 in yards per play. Number 14 in rushing yards per carry. Number 13 in passing yards per attempt. They are also, what really gets them right is they're really explosive. They're number 6 in 20-yard plus plays.
Yeah.
Number 4 in 30-yard plus plays.
Mm-hmm.
Number 2 in 40-yard plus plays. I already say that. And number 50 plus yards today. 50 plus yards per play. So
what rank are they? No.
Number 2.
Number 2 and 50?
50 plus yard plays.
That's
number
crazy.
2. They're number 5 in 60 plus yard plays. Just going all the way down the chart. So they're a really explosive offense. The issue is
they should be throwing the ball.
Because you're wondering, how could you have all those amazing stats? They scored 14 against Arkansas at home, 14 against Cal.
Yeah.
How in the world does that work? It's all because they are tied dead last for turnovers in the entire country. 14 turnovers on the season, 10 of them against Cal and Arkansas. So you have 10 turnovers against California and Arkansas. Think about that for a second. 10 turnovers against Cal and Arkansas. It's an average of 5 per game. 10 turnovers. 5 turnovers a game. What is this Oklahoma defense going to do to them?
With a new quarterback?
I think we could see. You're calling me crazy. They might just run the ball to not have this happen.
Punch
but
the ball
if they
back.
actually try to be aggressive, we could get 8 turnovers. I mean, it's crazy. I mean, 5 turnovers a game to Cal, 5 turnovers a game to Arkansas.
Yeah.
We could literally set our offense up on the 5-yard line every time.
You know,
that also includes who else?
They just played.
Who they just beat?
New Mexico.
New Mexico.
Yeah.
5 turnovers a game to New Mexico.
Yeah. So it's just definitely a offense that it can be explosive. We might give up some big plays, but I think our defense is so prone to just causing havoc.
Yep.
Like this could be fun.
Yeah. I just yelled. That probably peaked a little bit. Sorry,
It's
Pod.
all right. It happens.
I'm going to jump on that because I studied the offense a little bit too. Their passing game is by far their most explosive thing that they do, which is really interesting because they're changing quarterbacks, so that doesn't really make any sense. But they have 13 passing touchdowns versus 6 rushing touchdowns on the season. But this is interesting, and this goes with your explosivity of the offense. They're averaging 9.79 yards per attempt on passing. They're averaging a first down every throw.
Jeez.
They're rushing, they're averaging 6.2 yards per attempt. So it's either you run the ball 2 times and get a first down, or you pass the ball once and get a first down. That's like what they're averaging on their offense. But an issue is their time of possession. And this goes with the explosivity. Auburn is, over the whole season, has averaged the ball an hour and 29 minutes. Their opponents 2 hours and 20 minutes. Their opponents have averaged the ball almost double the time, which shows that they're having explosive plays getting off the field, and the other team's holding the ball and then scoring, and then they turn over the ball quickly because they're moving the ball so quickly. Other team scores, and that's why they're losing. That's why they're 2-2. So it's really interesting.
One way I heard it put on, like, I think the radio was, anytime they get the chance to turn the ball over, they do.
Yeah.
Another thing is their running back, Jarquez Hunter, number 27, wearing the old Gavin Sawchuk number. He's a baller.
Mm-hmm.
He
is
is the kind of guy that makes explosive plays. Just run. He's the kind of guy that gets those 20, 30, 40-yard runs all the time. But, yeah, I think if you have an offense that has this quarterback change and is prone to turnovers, we are built for that. Yeah. I mean, we are absolutely built for that.
And they also have a 50% third down conversion percentage, which is great for us.
Yeah.
I mean, that means 1 out of every 2 times they're going to fail.
And I think
with our defense,
we'll lower that to 20%.
Yeah.
Easy.
I genuinely think we can hold this team to under 10, even though they are the Auburn Tigers. I think we can hold them to under 10. Like, I think our defense is that good.
Yeah.
I'm a believer in the old Brent Venables defense at this point.
I mean, for me, I just look at BB always talks about turnover margin. Like, how good are we? What was the stat? I forgot what he said. It was like 16 and...
We are like...
yeah.
In his career at OU, we are 16-0 in games that we win the turnover margin.
Yeah. And then, like...
Wow.
Like 3 or like 2... I don't even know, like 3 and 5 or something.
Yeah.
When we done.
Every loss we have is when we gave away the ball more than they...
Yeah.
So it's...
Than they did.
Wowza.
That's
cool.
Well, guys... I feel like we got the win in the bag.
Yeah.
Because if we lose the turnover margin to these rascals, like, come on.
And this goes back to keep our offense vanilla, and we shouldn't be turning the ball over.
We shouldn't be turning it over.
Especially with Michael Hawkins.
Yeah.
So,
Peyton Thorne. Oh, go ahead.
No, you go ahead. What were you going to say?
Peyton Thorne, who started the season. He was our quarterback, obviously. He had 4 picks against Cal. He threw the ball to the wrong team 4 times.
Yeah.
And it's just like
Cal.
And they're not scrubs. Like, Cal's playing decent.
By the way, Cal just lost to Florida State University.
Oh, never mind. They're scrubs.
Just lost to Florida
I didn't know. I forgot that game happened. So never mind. They're scrubs.
Oh, yeah, because they were at Florida State.
Yeah.
Right?
Finally, DJ unemployed. Yeah. Good job, buddy.
Which the stands probably had like 40%.
4 people.
He got benched?
Yeah.
Good. About
Peyton,
time.
Or who? No, DJ. No, he played it. But
he
they
did.
just call him DJU, DJ unemployed.
Oh.
Is what they say. So it's like you throw 4 picks. Together, him and Hank Brown, they have, let's see, I think they have 8 interceptions between the two, and they have 13 touchdowns thrown for.
Mm-hmm.
So
Jeez,
13 to
1-to-1
almost, yeah.
Ish.
It's like 1 to like 0.5 pretty much. So
Yeah.
it's like in our defense, that's probably the best thing we do is turn the ball over.
Yeah.
So I feel like, are going to feast because there's no shot. They have not played a defense of our caliber yet. And I don't think anything is even close. They played Alabama A&M. I'm sorry, but them rascals not turning the ball. They are not forcing turnovers.
I mean, unless they played Bama or Georgia, I don't think they'll play a defense of our caliber all season.
They play Georgia next week.
So Georgia. So they
got back-to-back. Just
that's brutal.
Yes, they play Auburn. Well, they go to Georgia next week.
Oh, yeah, they're
What's
toast.
interesting is I'm going to pivot to kind of their defense here. They have allowed equal rushing first downs and pretty much equal passing first downs. They have 33 passing first downs allowed and 32 rushing first downs allowed. So pretty much what I'm saying is both of them are buns. Both their D-line and their secondaries are buns because they're equally getting beat. Both, not that they're buns, but they're equally getting beat.
Yeah.
But yeah, so they've allowed 8 tutties, 4 passing, 4 rushing. They're almost completely balanced on what they let up, but they're letting up quite a bit.
I'll be the devil's advocate for OU fans and say this. They are big.
Yeah.
They are fast.
That's that's going to be everybody.
We are playing in the SEC. We're playing on the road in the SEC.
Yeah.
It will be... If you're an OU fan and you think that we're going to go into this game and our offense is going to just look great because Auburn's bad and we changed the game plan, we put Michael Hawkins in, this could be the most disgusting offensive game you've ever watched in your life.
Oh, man.
Like, yes, I want to be, like, optimistic that Mike Hawkins is the guy and our offense will switch in a week because BV's getting into him. But I'm going to be honest, like, getting out of my OU brain and putting on my neutral cap, this is going to be ugly. This is going to be disgusting. This is going to be like watching one of those NFL games that's like 3-2.
God.
It's going to be really, really ugly because the defenses are big and strong and fast. Ours is very, very good. And both of these offenses just suck. These are terrible offenses going up against pretty good, at least very large defenses.
I would argue even Auburn's offense currently, like going into this week, is significantly better.
Yeah.
Other than the fact that they aren't turning over, other than the fact that they're turning over the ball almost every other play, they are significantly better than our offense.
Yeah, so just being a realist, not being an OU fan for a second, it's going to be ugly. It's going to be ugly. Our defense, I think, will win us this game. I'm not going to say that we're not going to win this game. But what I am trying to say is, like, it's going to be ugly. Yeah. It's going to be, like, I can see our offense doing some really ugly things out there, and their offense doing very ugly things out there, and it just being, like, I mean, it's going to be a defensive masterclass.
Then you add in, with our offense, this is the first time we've played in an environment where the opposing team is yelling while we're making plays. So you're having a new offensive scheme, a new quarterback, in an environment where every snap you take is we might be good on offense.
No, like literally, I genuinely, my score prediction might be 3-2 because it's going to be disgusting offensive football. It's going to be gross.
I will say that going on the road in the SEC for the first time to a stadium, we've always played terrible in loud environments. We couldn't even play in Boom Pickens. Yeah. And Boom, like, it's loud in there because their stadium is so small and it's so compact.
Yeah.
Oh boy, these Auburn, when that eagle is going crazy, but there is the one guy is Michael Hawkins that I feel like does not care.
Yeah, he does
like bro's gonna be like,
he sees the logo, be like,
"We all shut up." All right, shut the ball.
55,000 to 87,000 is the difference between Boone Pickens and Jordan Hare Stadium.
Jeez.
So 33 extra thousand people
yelling, screaming,
will be yelling,
crying,
right?
Yeah.
Michael Hawkins might not even understand
what they're doing. Why are they yelling?
Like, well, he might not I don't think he'll understand the magnitude of the moment because that stuff doesn't get to him.
Yeah.
He doesn't I'm not calling him out. I'm just saying, like, he does not care about that stuff.
That's what I'm saying.
And not in a way like, oh, I don't even care. It's like, he just doesn't care.
He genuinely does not care.
It's the way, like, you know, when you have it.
It's like Cam Ward, bro. I feel like he's like Cam Ward. I don't know if y'all have seen Cam Ward highlights where he plays in slow-mo.
Yeah.
Bro, literally.
Yeah. Well, it's like when you have a friend that eats super unhealthy.
Yeah.
And you're like looking at it and you're like, that's insane. Like, he's throwing down 2 pizzas, 2 ices, and some brownies. I'm mostly referring not to Colby.
We know.
I know what you're talking about.
And
which I do that sometimes.
Well, we all are guilty of it. But I'm saying, like, they have no conscience.
Yeah.
Like, they don't even think about that stuff.
Yeah.
It doesn't even, like, register in their mind that it's unhealthy.
Yeah.
And that's Michael Hawkins. He literally doesn't even register in his mind that
this is huge.
This is a huge like, this is OU history.
Yeah.
Like, he will be remembered for the rest of his life for this game.
Yeah.
But to him, it's just like,
well,
whatever.
It makes you wonder, too, because I knew guys in baseball that were like that. It's like, and I am not calling Mike Hawkins this, but it's like, it's almost like an ignorance / like stupidity. Yeah. And no, Michael, you're like, that's not what I'm calling you. But there was a guy that I played.
It's Michael Hawkins' dad. He had to know.
I heard you. But there was this guy that I played baseball with, and I won't say his name, but he played here at OU. Now he's in the pros. And he's a dummy. He's a dummy. But he is one of the most gifted baseball players I've ever seen in my life. Didn't really work out. Didn't really practice a lot. But just went out there and was a gamer and just absolutely balled. And so, yes, that's baseball, but it translates to football just as much. It's like this guy, he'd be in a situation where the stadium was packed, games on the line, and he would just smile. He'd be like, there's this guy I played with in high school. I'll go into it just really briefly, but he went on to play at USC. He was a pitcher. He threw like 95, was a 2A in high school, hit like over 400. It was our CIF playoff game, which is if we lose, we're done for the season. If we win, we move up. to play Huntington Beach in the quarterfinals. And this guy, the game's online, 2 strikes, runner on second base, we're down, run. He looks back at the dugout and smiles. I swear to God, he looks back at the dugout and just goes, steps up to the plate, hits the ball at the middle, scores the run, we tie the game. And he's on second base doing this. Like this. Bro, later in the game, tie ball game, exact same situation. Runner on third base, he's up to the plate. 2 outs, 2 strikes, looks back at the dugout. Hits a line drive to left center field, we win the game. He literally tied us the game and then won us the game. And I literally don't think he knew the magnitude. You were just like, oh, I'm just playing ball. I'm playing baseball. And now it's like, I think Michael Hawkins kind of has that. Like, he came into the Tennessee game, second half. Jackson Arnold, our promising quarterback, gets pulled. Michael gets brought in. This is another Caleb Williams, Spitzer Rattler situation. And bro just walks in and just...
The magnitude...
And play in balls.
The
like he plays
magnitude
good.
of the world on this guy's shoulder coming into that second half. And he didn't even look like he...
He didn't look phased at all.
The thing is, I don't think he's dumb. It's more like he literally just does not... That stuff doesn't cross his mind.
Yeah.
It doesn't cross his mind. Like, the stuff that we think about of, like, holy crap, the magnitude of this moment, the pressure on my shoulders, does not cross his mind whatsoever.
Yeah.
Like,
he's thinking about football.
Yeah.
And that is the perfect thing that we need right now.
Yeah.
I wish
I could.
I wish that I had that same thing where things
I
like
wish
that.
I did too.
Because I'd be in the inner squad where it's 30 degrees and it doesn't matter. And I'd be like, oh boy, I'm about to hit. And like, it wasn't like I was nervous, but it would still cross my mind like, I got to get this done.
Yeah.
But like, and I'm telling you, those are the best players that do not care. I remember literally, shout out DJ Van Atten would be at S&D, would just be like, all right, we're down. And he would have all these people like, oh man, like whatever, like we're down or whatever. And we just need like, ultimately, we just need a bomb.
Yeah.
And he would be like, they'd be like, DJ, you're up. Like, you're on deck. And he'd be like playing with the water bottle, like drawing pictures in the dirt with the water, or just doing something stupid. And he'd be like, all right, bing, and just a tank. And he would come down. And I remember, because I wanted to come to OU the next year so bad. And I'd be like sitting there, and I would always hold up the one as he was like rounding second, coming to third, and he would always be like, and it was just like, he just hit a game tying or like go ahead nuke.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And bro's just like,
My bosses at football always were saying that they were worried about Kyler Murray.
Yeah.
Because Baker, for 3 years, that most high intensity, cared about the moment, cared about the emotions behind the game kind of guy. And they said Kyler Murray came in, did not care one bit. He was the kind of guy that, like, he didn't care about the moment. He wasn't emotional in that way that Baker was. And they were worried.
Yeah.
And turns out, baller just as well.
Yep.
Jalen Hurts comes in the next year, and you kind of get a replacement of, oh, I like the emotion. I like the moment. And so there's, if you're going to have a great quarterback, to be a quarterback, you either have to
love the moment or don't care at all.
Fuel you.
Yeah.
Not let them destroy you, but let them fuel you. Or you have to be the kind of guy that's like, I don't care about the emotions. I just love the game.
Yeah.
So 2 very different kind of people, but both the kind of quarterback.
For this game, I feel like Mike's the guy that you have to have. Unless, because we don't have that other guy that's just like, oh, I want this moment so bad. Yeah. If you want the moment, then it's like, hey, go get it.
Yeah.
But me personally, if I'm out there, being truthfully, I wouldn't want to come into that Tennessee game. No. I'll be honest with you. I'm not built like that. Pod, sorry. I'll be honest with you. I would be like, oh, Lord. Here we go. And I could like convince myself. I would more so be like having fun. But if I turn the ball over, I'm toast.
That's the thing.
If I turn the ball over, just take me out.
That's the thing. First mistake I make, I'm like, ooh, I messed up.
Because I would have to psych myself. It would almost be like the faking it till you make it type of like, oh yeah, this easy. And then I get out there.
Then you make a mistake.
I see Tyree West coming in. No, I don't want to play no more. I'm good.
Well, and the only place that we have those kind of guys on our team is
defense, bro.
Kendall Dolby, recipe.
He didn't
Kip
die.
Lewis.
He didn't die, guys. He's alive.
He did not die.
Those kind of guys, they just love the moment.
That's why I'm going to play defense, bro. That's why defense is so much better.
What's unfortunate is we also have those guys on offense, but they're all in.
That hurt.
Jalil Farouk, Andrew Anthony, they love moments like that, but they don't. they don't play.
Those are the best.
So, they're the most entertaining to watch for sure, but we need a guy like Mike.
Yeah. I want to go into a couple particular players to look out for.
Yeah.
To be honest, I didn't know anybody on Auburn's team other than the quarterbacks because that was big news this week. So I did some research on their defense, really, because that always seems to be the focus: is can our offense match up with their defense? Because our offense clearly can't match up with really anybody. But now with Michael, we might have a chance, and maybe with these new schemes that BB's talking about, making it simpler, we might have a better offense. Hopefully, we break top 100. So two guys on their defense that that are just performing well statistically is a linebacker, Jalen McLeod. Kylan, you just correct me when you figure out his name. McLeod. And Keldrick Falk, who's a D lineman. Jalen McLeod, he's a linebacker. He's had 2 sacks, 6.5 tackles for loss, 20 total tackles, and 16 solo. He's just a baller.
Yeah,
he's just playing good football. Defensive lineman Kendrick Falk, 3 sacks, 5 tackles for losses, 15 total tackles, and 10 solo tackles. These guys are ballers. Granted, they're probably not playing against the best offensive lines in the world, but do we have the best offensive line in the world? No, we don't. So I think these guys are going to be impact players. They're obviously tearing it up right now statistically. They're playing really good football, and those are 2 guys that we really need to look out for. But once again, D-line and linebacker, that's their 2 best players. Where's their secondary? If we have an air raid with Michael, maybe we can expose their secondary, which will have to push, Jalen McLeod back into coverage, which can open up the run game. So there's really things that I think we can do pretty well. So
You got Jaron Thompson. He's their safety.
Okay.
So, I mean, he's their leader in tackles.
Wow. Okay.
22.
Well, that makes sense though, because open field,
yeah,
like your secondary is gonna have more like linebackers too.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So even then, I mean, it's literally on their defense ranking. It's Jaron Thompson, another linebacker who has 20 tackles, and then it's Jalen McLeod and Keldrick Falk. So I mean, obviously from your point, we should be paying attention to the nose tackle and the D line, like the D tackle.
Yeah.
Because that's where we struggle.
Yeah.
That's where most of our problems stem from. It's just because can our O-line stop their D-line? Because, of course, if Michael Hawkins says all the time in the world, he will be perfectly fine.
Oh, yeah.
Because receivers going to get open. I don't believe that we have bad receivers. I think that we don't have enough time for them to run their route efficiently to get open.
Yeah.
And so we're having to throw to them while they're coming out of their break. And it's just like, they're not really open, but, hey, we got to make sure. I'm trying to fit it in this little gap. Maybe might catch it, but
yeah.
I think their defense isn't that scary. They got a couple guys that can ball, but I don't think it's anything like too much that we can't handle.
Yeah.
Y'all want to go score predictions?
Or key things and then score predictions? Sorry, I should have had that up. This week I just have 5 key things that I think we need to win the game. One, which is stop the passing game and rattle their near quarterback. I mean, they're averaging 9.7 yards per attempt, which a lot of that probably is coming from Peyton Ford. So Hank Brown coming in. Stop their passing game and rattle the new quarterback. I think he's a true freshman, right? Hank Brown?
Yeah.
Or maybe he's a redshirt. I don't know.
True freshman.
But regardless, I mean, his first start at home versus Oklahoma against an elite defense, I think if we rattle him, get a pick early on, a turnover, we're going to really get in his head. He's going to be scared to throw the ball, especially with our secondary, which is just elite, and our linebackers. That's a key. I think that'd help us out a lot. Number 2 is keep the ball in our hands. Auburn's, having the ball for an hour less statistically than their opponents. So as long as we keep the ball in our hands as much as we can, this was the same idea with Tennessee, as we wanted to keep the ball in our hands as much as we can. Get the ball away from their explosive offense and really just keep the ball away from them so that way they don't have explosive plays. I don't think they're an elite offense, but they're really elite at making explosive plays. So the less time they have the ball, the less chances they'll have to make those plays happen. Number 3, same thing every week. O-line has to hold up, and particularly Jalen McLeod and Keldrick, because those are the guys that are going to be blitzing pretty much the whole time. Even though that Jaron guy, he's a safety. But how much is he getting blitzed?
Exactly.
Maybe once or twice a game?
He has 1 sack.
Yeah, so maybe a couple times a game. Yeah. But stop, the D-line and linebackers. Number 4, Michael has to complete passes. I think that's pretty simple. But other than the Jaron guy, I mean, they're letting up I mean, they're pretty much balanced. It's like they're allowing 100 more yards passing per game than they are rushing.
Yeah.
They're allowing 219 yards passing and they're allowing 118 rushing. So clearly, they're making more passes, even though they've allowed the same amount of touchdowns and first downs. They're getting about 100 more yards passing per game. So Michael can air it out. I think we'll be good. And the fifth and last thing, and arguably the most important, is don't let the environment get to them. This is something that OU does literally
every time.
We're notorious for, which is we cannot handle high-pressure, loud environments other than OU Texas. That's probably the only environment that we can handle, and that's because half the stadium is on our side.
Yeah.
So, I mean, we couldn't even handle Kansas last year. So, Boone Pickens is – I won't downplay it because it's a small stadium. It is incredibly loud, but when you add 30,000 more people in there, SEC and bigger players, that environment's going to be crazy. And where he go, wow, wow, wow. He's flying right at Michael. So don't let the environment get to them. And I think if we can do those 5 things, we'll have a really good chance at winning the game.
For me, I mean, I think it comes down to what we say every single week. O-line's got to DYJ, do your job. That's what they say. But
we had shirts like that.
Yeah, I know. Everybody,
yeah.
So, or it was whatever it takes.
Whatever it takes.
Whatever it takes. But
Which?
I mean, as cheesy as that is, I mean, really, honestly, like whatever it takes to win the football game.
Yeah.
That's what you got to do, Mike. I think be Mike, be Michael Hawkins Jr., be who you were in high school when you were just a playmaker.
Yeah.
Use your legs. If there's nothing open, and you can go get, even if it's 3 or 4.
Yeah.
I'll take 3 or 4 rather than you throwing out of bounds or trying to force a pick or force a completion and it turns into a pick.
Yeah.
So just go be a playmaker. I know you are. BV's literally, if you watch him talk about you, he literally can't contain himself. He wants to smile so bad. And I know he likes you.
He gets the giggles.
He gets the little giggles and the butterflies.
Giggles,
and he's kicking his feet, laying on his stomach in his bed, probably thinking about him. But it's like, I feel like just go in there, play our style of football. Don't overcomplicate stuff.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, it's still football. Most of y'all been playing it since y'all were 5 years old. So go play football. This Auburn team should not beat us. It should not be scared. We just played the number 6 team in the country and honestly put up, as bad as it sounds, put up a solid fight against them.
Yeah.
Barring all the circumstances that happen.
I want to add to that just real quick.
Yeah.
We had so many chances to win that game. So many chances to beat Tennessee.
Yeah.
So you're exactly right. Auburn, we should beat them.
Yeah.
Because we should have beaten Tennessee.
Yeah.
If we had a partially competent offense, we would have beat Tennessee.
Partially.
So
I'll say this real quick. We got 15 minutes. But if we lose to Auburn, per se, right?
Per se.
We probably, let's just put ourselves in the mindset of we are worse than Auburn, okay?
okay.
We're cooked.
We're losing to Texas.
Yep.
We will probably beat South Carolina, but we will lose to Ole Miss.
South Carolina hasn't been playing bad, though.
But we'll have them at home. I think I'll give us the benefit of that.
Yeah.
We'll lose to Ole Miss. We will beat Maine. We will probably lose to Missouri on the road. We'll probably lose to Alabama. We will probably lose to LSU on the road.
Jeez, that's a terrible, terrible
That would
thought.
put us at, if we lose this game and we are really that bad, 5
Oh, is that 5 and 7? Oh, I thought that was, yeah.
Which would mean we do not go to a bowl game. So, as much as I want to be like, yeah, I think we got this in the bag, if we don't got this in the bag, and we are as bad as some may say we are, especially on offense, if we lose this game, is what I'm trying to say, it needs to be alarm bells fast. Because if we lose this game, we have to win one of Texas, Ole Miss, Missouri, Alabama, or LSU. We have to win one of those games to go to a bowl. And I don't think we do in that scenario. So,
And 3 of them on the road.
yes.
4 of them.
So just keep in mind that, you mess this one up and things get really bad really
fast.
It makes you wonder if we lose this game, is a firing of Seth Luttrell justifiable?
Oh,
It's already
Joe
justifiable.
John justifiable?
It's already justifiable right
It
now.
already is, but like
game, buddy,
it already is. I think it already is right now. But like, do you think that actually happens if we lose?
I think if we lose this game,
I don't know if it happens immediately because we do have a bye week, but I don't know.
I don't think it's going to happen immediately, but I think we're going to see a lot of recruits.
Yeah.
I can agree with that.
Because if we lose Auburn, they're going to be like, these rascals suck.
Yeah.
We're like the next Florida.
Yeah, literally.
If we lose to Auburn, we're literally the next Florida.
I think we got to win
Which is so
Auburn, we
scary.
got to win South Carolina, we got to win Maine because that's the easiest. Those are the only unranked teams we got left, and we need all three of those to get to the bowl game.
Yeah.
And I'm not really trusting us right now to go win top 15 matchups to get into a bowl game. So we got to win this one, or things could get bad.
Yeah.
All right, we'll get into the score predictions. We got 3 games and then us. First, Illinois goes on the road last week and beats Nebraska on the road.
Yeah.
Now they go to Penn State, 6:30 p.m. NBC. That's going to be a crazy environment. Penn State's favored by 19. That's fair. That's really fair. But Illinois is good. I think Illinois covers that, but I think they lose. I'll give them 34-24 Penn State.
Illinois just beat Nebraska at home, which I think Nebraska's pretty good.
Yeah, Dylan Raiola's
I think
not
they're a
bad.
good team.
They're a great environment.
Dylan Raiola is legit.
Yeah.
It's a hard environment to play in. Illinois is really impressive with that win. But being said, Penn State is a different breed of environment when it comes to like home stadiums.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know much about Penn State, but I really like Dylan, and I doubt their Drew Aller. I don't know if he's better than Dylan Raiola.
It's more experience.
He has more experience. But also Penn State played West Virginia on the road, beat them pretty squarely. I think Penn State's going to come out the W, and I would say probably at home, an environment like that, 28-17.
I mean, pretty much like y'all said. Drew Aller, I don't think he's all that everyone hypes him up to be. They always put him in a Heisman favorite. I don't think he's that good. I just think he has good playmakers around him, and it's a good like coaching staff over there at Penn State. They're not bad. Home environment, like y'all said. I mean, it's really hard to go into Penn State and just whoop them.
Yeah.
And Illinois, they are good, but I don't think they're as good. So they're probably going to take their L. I'm going to go Penn State, 31-20.
Nice. Got a next game. This game is on Peacock only.
Hello.
Unbelievable.
Florida versus Florida State.
No. Number 15 at number 16 on Peacock, which is kind of crazy. Louisville at Notre Dame.
Ooh.
Notre Dame only favored by 6.5, less than a touchdown.
Ooh.
I kind of agree with that. Notre Dame, not the greatest. Louisville, not the greatest. This is a really big game for the ACC because the ACC has been terrible at non-conference play.
Yep.
And yeah, big game for the ACC. Big game for Louisville because they're the only team up there with Miami in the rankings right now.
Yeah.
For the ACC. But I'll take Notre Dame. I'll take Notre Dame, man. What will I take them? Probably 21-20.
Jeez.
Close game. I think Louisville really is. I don't think Notre Dame is great. I don't think either offense is great. I'll go 21-20.
24-17 Notre Dame.
Are they in Notre Dame or at Notre Dame? Okay.
That's all I got to say.
Notre Dame lost to NIU.
Yeah. It's not much to talk about here.
I'm going Louisville. Give me them birds.
I agree. I mean, I
Give me
think
the birds.
Louisville is more of a player in this than.
I'm going 27-24 birds.
All right. Now it's time to get to the entertaining stuff.
Uh-oh.
You already know where we're going.
Tuscaloosa.
The best two.
It's time to play the game.
Best two games in the country will be played 50 miles apart. Or like our favorite. The games that we're going to be watching. Yeah. I should say. My opinion, the best two games in the country will be played in Tuscaloosa and Auburn. So Tuscaloosa.
Is that a night game?
Oh yeah, 6:30. Yeah, if you guys really wanted to, y'all could drive over over to Tuscaloosa. But the tickets are as low as $267. So. Anyway, let's get to it.
TV free.
Number 2 Georgia goes to number 4 Alabama under brand new coach. Georgia's favored by 2 on the road. I don't know if y'all have seen this already, but it's the first home dog game for Alabama since 2007.
Jeez.
Wow. Which Ryan Williams, the star wide receiver at Alabama,
probably was what, like 1?
was born in 2007.
Jeez.
He's 17 years old.
Jeez.
So really crazy. But anyways, I do think, man, It's really a toss-up.
That's what. Yeah.
It really depends. Like, we are going to find out about Kalen DeBoer right here, right now.
Yeah.
Alabama's offense looks great. They look fantastic. Yeah. Ryan Williams is a stud. Jalen Milroe's a stud. Their O-line, they're all going to the NFL. Defense isn't,
they're all good.
They are all going to the NFL out of Alabama. Defense isn't, Nick Saban era defense, but it's great.
Yeah.
But Georgia is so good on both sides of the ball. But I'm going to go ahead and say Alabama at home 27-24.
That's a good pick.
I'll go quick because we got to kind of go quick. I'm taking Bama. Georgia barely squeezed out of Kentucky on the road, and Bryant-Denny Stadium is a lot different than Kentucky on the road. I think Bama has a lot to prove. Kylan DeBoer has a lot to prove. It's a huge SEC game. I don't know. I think if Georgia can't handle Kentucky on the road, and Bama's playing the way that they are, I mean, they put up, 42 against Wisconsin on the road? I mean, they look solid. They look really good. So I'm taking Bama. I don't think it's going to be a high-scoring game because Georgia's defense is so elite and Bama's defense is really good too. I think it is a – what'd you say?
27-24.
I'm going to go 24-21. That's what I think.
I think we're going 3-0 for them Bama boys because I don't know why, dude. I just feel like Alabama's low-key got it this year.
I do too.
I think they low-key – in Georgia, I just – like, obviously they're good. They're gross.
Yeah,
but it's just like – I think if they're at Georgia, I might sway.
Yes,
oh, yeah.
Totally agree.
Yeah, absolutely.
But I think even though, like, they're ranked, they're number 2, whatever, I just think, honestly, like, Jalen Milroe looks different. Like, he figured out how to throw the football. How to throw the football, and he can still run. So it's like double whammy. So I got Bama, and I think Georgia might get I'm going to say spanked, but I'm going to go 28. I'm going to go 28-19.
Oddball right there.
Oddball.
All right, last one. Jordan-Hare Stadium, not far away from Tuscaloosa. Oklahoma at Auburn. OU favored by 2.5 on the road.
Only 2.5 against Auburn.
Let's go.
It's so sad.
I'll take it.
Is fair.
I'll take it.
On the road is fair.
And after what we just did.
Yeah.
You know me, I think this is going to be the ugliest offense that anybody's ever watched in the history of offense. I got Oklahoma beating Auburn on the road 9-6.
That's so funny.
Call me crazy. But when that
You're not
scoreboard
crazy.
looks low, you won't be calling me crazy.
No, you're not crazy. Our offense is scary in a bad way. I think we come out, we win 16-6. I like putting at Auburn at 6. Yeah.
They don't believe like I do. I believe, like Coach Prime
This is the
says.
man that's been talking Michael Hawkins for
Since he got to
That's facts.
campus,
That's facts.
Michael Hawkins, his dad said, "My son not coming to OU to be the second string." And look at him now. His dad said that before this all happened.
It's always the dads, man.
The dads know. The dads
LeVar
know.
Ball. It's always the dads.
It's always
man.
the dads. But you know what? Hey, I think he's going to go in here, and just because he doesn't care, and he's going to make a play. So I don't think our offense is going to be the worst thing ever. It's not going to be Lincoln Riley-esque, but I think we go put up. I'm gonna go 20, 27. I think Auburn. I'm going 27-10.
I would be so happy if we did that.
I would be-
would jump for joy.
I would
If we
jump
put up
for
3
joy.
tutties, you will see me jumping for joy, for sure.
Yeah. Also, before we go, me and Kylan will be going to the game. If that wasn't already improvised, we'll be flying to Atlanta Saturday morning. So, and driving out to
Flying into the
Auburn,
hurricane.
Alabama.
To the Hellcat U.
Hellcat, you.
Hellcat U.
I can't wait. It's going to be a lot of fun. Hopefully the hurricane doesn't,
Pick us up.
put our airplane in a spin cycle. But,
I can swim.
it'll
I
be
can
a fun
swim.
game. So, 2:30 kickoff. It's not going to be that hot, which
Yeah.
is really nice. It'll be fun. It's going to be a lot of fun to go on the road. So, yeah, any more closing thoughts before we go?
I'm good.
Good?
Good.
All right, thanks for listening, guys.
Peace.
Yep.